Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, October 3, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:45 p.m. Jamaica time, we can see that we're still watching that cold yellow across the northern Bahamas that should be bringing some rainfall to portions of the northern Bahamas and Florida for the next 7 days. Only has a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. But now we're still watching this code orange that now just left the coast of Africa, and it's expected to continue pushing westward, if not west-northwestward, and possibly develop. And if we take a look at the infrared for this evening, we can see the clouds, the showers and thunderstorms associated with the trough of low pressure across the northern Bahamas into the eastern Bahamas, and we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave that just exited the coast of Africa that has a medium chance of development as it pushes towards the west and west-northwest. And if we take a look back at what the Hurricane Center has stated regarding this code orange, let us read the latest of what they're saying. So they said a tropical wave has just emerged off the coast of Africa. The wave is forecast to interact with another disturbance over the eastern tropical Atlantic and then move westward after that. Environmental conditions are expected to become conducive for some slow development of the system in a few days, and a tropical depression could form near or east of the Lesser Antilles by the end of next week. And we see that they've given the area a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 50% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And if we take a look at what the Euro and the GFS supercomputer models are showing regarding this system within the next 7 days, so we're looking at the Euro model right here, and it is valid for 6Z on Friday, October 10. So that is about 1 a.m. on Friday within the next 7 days. And as you can see here, this is where the Euro model has the system right here across portions of the northeastern Caribbean. We can see the isobars, we can see the moisture in the greens into the yellows. It represents anywhere from 2 all the way to maybe 6 inches of rainfall or more. Regarding what the GFS is showing for the same times, we can see 1 a.m. on Friday, October 6, has the system in the circle, but it's more so to the east of where the Euro has it right in here, and we see quite a formidable looking system, even more moisture in the yellows, oranges, reds, pinks, even more isobars around an area of low pressure, 978 millibars. Definitely slower and stronger on the GFS than on the Euro. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. And it is also interesting to note that we also have across the waters to the south of Mexico another system trying to form within the next 7 days. The GFS, just like with the system on across the Atlantic, is a bit slower and just to the east of where the Euro has it. Very interesting. We'll see how all of this plays out over the next 7 days, and I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs if God spares life. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we're still watching that frontal system that extended all the way down from Imelda that has induced that trough of low pressure into the Bahamas that now has a low chance of development within the next 7 days. We see that there's another tropical wave right here to the east of the Caribbean, another tropical wave equidistant from Africa and the main development region. Well, equidistant from Africa and the Caribbean. To the northeast of that, we have a trough as represented by the broken orange lines, and that tropical wave that just emerged off the coast of Africa that has a medium chance of development within the next 7 days. And we know that all of these entities are being steered from east to west, if not east southeast, west, northwest, all courtesy of that ridge of high pressure to the north. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out these entities that we just mentioned. First of all, we can see the clouds right here associated with that frontal system extending all the way from Imelda all the way down into portions of the Bahamas right in here. We can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave to the east of the Caribbean. Another tropical wave is supposedly right in here. And we can see the clouds associated with that other tropical wave that just exited the coast of Africa right there. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean's weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, October 3, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some central and western parishes in Jamaica on Friday afternoon. And we know that central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 3:55 p.m., the infrared satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we can see the eruption of convection that took place during the afternoon today across especially central and western parishes. Even although we know that Kingston, St. Andrew are eastern parishes, we definitely got some of the activity across the western portions of eastern Jamaica. So southwestern Portland, northwestern St. Thomas, sections of northern St. Andrew into southern St. Catherine, and we saw the thunderstorms across northern St. Catherine. Well, southern St. Mary, and we saw the thunderstorms across northern St. Catherine, central to northern Clarendon, central to northern Manchester, central to northern St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne. Definitely gotten on the thunderstorm activity today for sure. And we can see the visible satellite imagery today, all of the clouds that took place across the central and western parishes for sure. That brought us some rainfall, and we can see the infrared even better right here. Look at the deep convection, all of these blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds that we know represents that cumulonimbus cloud cover, not to mention the sparkling white dots that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, especially across the northern parishes today. So definitely section of St. Anne into Trelawney, St. James, Hanover definitely gotten on the brunt of today's thunderstorms as most of this activity started to push off towards the north and west. And we definitely have the Cuban Doppler radar imagery here from the Met Service Jamaica website, showing where we had that rainfall mainly across central and western parishes. All of these greens into the yellows, into the oranges, and the reds represent some light to moderate to even some heavy rainfall, especially across those areas that received the brunt of today's lightning. We're talking about northern St. Andrew, northern St. Catherine, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, into Hanover. That was where the brunt of today's rainfall was located. And if we take a look at the live camera here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel, this was at around 2:07 p.m. And we saw that we were definitely getting on some rainfall. We can see the windshield wipers on these vehicles. People in their vehicles going about their business, but it was definitely raining. Just some light to moderate rainfall around the Flatbridge area at that time. Nothing really significant at all. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at where we had that rainfall today according to the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. This map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some central and western parishes, with the brunt of the activity on the north coast today. And if we take a look at some of the comments that came in here from some of our followers, we have MB on our Twitter page sitting raining in Mobay now. That was posted 3 hours ago. We also have Active 481 sitting hot in his area, posted 2 hours ago. Even on our Facebook page, we had a video here from Orlean Rankin from St. Catherine, highlighting some rainfall that was taking place at 2:12 p.m. in our video right here.
I feel like in a thunder one entity for rain with breeze.
Okay.
What is going on?
Alright. Thank you very much for the video clip, Arlene. thank you for the clip. Lots of excitement in your voice there. Wish I could see what was taking place through the window better, but you know the drill, especially if there's lightning. Stay away from the windows. Lightning is definitely dangerous. We also have a comment here from L. Francis stating, we got some rain in South Manchester. Lance stating dark clouds. We also have on our Instagram page Sashi stating overcast in Mandeville. Vodka underscore and underscore vibes underscore stating, I'm loving the cool weather. We have one Ryan at underscore stating getting heavy rain now with lightning and thunder in Hanover. Sassy La Hermosa stating no rain in Clarendon, just cloudy. We also have Edward Stenisha stating overcast sky in South Manchester, heard the thunderstorm though. We also have Baker O'Neill stating rain in Mandeville. Even on our TikTok page, we had at least one comment here from Stephen Rose stating St. Catherine, rain. Alright, thank you all for confirming what the weather is like in your ear today. Let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather News website. The latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery, the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar imagery, and even although it looks like it's still glitched out at September 30, so let's X this off. And the latest Cayman radar. We want to see exactly what's taking place right about now. Alright, so the latest still image from the Weather News website is showing 0025 UTC, which is actually 7:25 p.m. So this just came out 11 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:36 p.m. right now. And as you can see, just some leftover clouds from what took place today, some serious clouds in the grays as well as the whitish shades as well as the bluish shades. Do we actually have moisture underneath all of that? Let us look at the latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery, which is showing 0018Z. So we can actually see some leftover rainfall here on the western side, Hanover into Westmoreland, just some light rainfall, nothing significant. So I'm guessing it definitely is in line with the blues that we're seeing here across Hanover and Westmoreland on the infrared. So underneath these clouds, we're actually getting on some light rainfall out across western Jamaica as we speak. And we don't have the Cuban Doppler radar to mimic what the Jamaican Doppler radar was showing, because it looks like it glitched out at around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 4 p.m. Jamaica time. But at that time, we saw where we were getting in on some moderate to heavy rainfall across especially central and northwestern parishes. I mean, look at the yellows into the golds across Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and they definitely got some decent rainfall this afternoon. And even the Cayman radar is confirming that light rainfall in the blues across the western portions of the island. We can see most of it dissipating as we speak. And we see some rainfall here and there across sections of Cuba, not really much of anything across the Cayman Islands right now. Regarding what's taking place right now, the halfway tree live camera right here. Let's look at it in HD. As you can see, we have people walking about on that pedestrian crossing, very busy halfway tree, looking towards the bank over here. People going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. And as you can see right here, it is definitely fair conditions that's taking place here. Nothing in the way of bad weather at all at this time. And that should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're at 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Saturday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Saturday. And we see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays for the most part. That represents 0, that's average temperatures. I know the average temperature for the month of October across Jamaica is around 89 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 31.6 degrees Celsius. So that should be the temperature forecast for Jamaica on a Saturday. And if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, especially considering that we don't have any maintenance outage advisories from my JPS online Twitter page. So if it's going to be a bit too hot for you, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day, and I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. The dry air map still showing that the driest air is still across the northern portion of North Atlantic, as represented by the yellows into the oranges. You know that the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable. So we're glad that the Main development regions, the Caribbean has been moistening up. You notice where we see the blues, that's where we see the clouds and the grays, and that's what we want more of. We want more of the moisture so that we get more clouds to keep water in our pipes, because they're bringing rainfall and to cool down these temperatures. Regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, so we're heading into October 4, October 5, and October 6. And as you can see, Jamaica should be right here in the clear. Not much in the way of Saharan dust coming through. We see some Saharan dust pushing off of Africa though. But more than likely, by the time it gets to the central and to the western main development region, most of it has dwindled down in intensity, and that's what we like, because we know that the Saharan dust can definitely cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger respiratory illnesses like asthma and sinusitis issues in some persons. So we're grateful that the Saharan dust isn't really doing much these days at all. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, we're still seeing the abundance of dark blues into the purples and the pinks. That represents anywhere from 2 meter wave heights all the way up to maybe 3 or 4 meter wave heights. All courtesy of what Humberto and Imelda did, churning up the waters of the, to the east of the US, to the north of the Bahamas, to the north of the Caribbean. So it's still churned up as we speak. While the Caribbean, we're still seeing the lighter shades of blues to blues. That represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1 meter wave height. And that's because of the southeasterly winds averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 knots over here, while we're getting in on the 20 to 25, maybe in up to 30 knot gusts from the east across the waters where we have the highest waves. But regarding Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, to the north of Portland, 0.4 for meter wave height. To the north of St. Anne, 0.3 for meter wave height expected. To the north of Hanover, 0.2 for meter wave height expected. To the south of Westmoreland, 0.4 for meter wave height expected. To the south of Clarendon, 0.5 for meter wave height expected. To the south of St. Thomas, 0.5 for meter wave height expected. And that's because of the easterly winds that we have tomorrow, averaging 6 knots right here to the north of St. Mary, averaging 11 knots from the southeast to the south of St. Catherine. And we also see where the air is expected to pile up. Wherever we have the least amount of winds, that's where we could have those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds. Then we have that daytime heating causing some afternoon rainfall. Looks like some northern and western parishes going to be getting on some daytime heating rainfall. Upper level winds seem to be coming in from the west tomorrow. So it's going to be a nice afternoon downpour once again for the north coast. Again, look at this. The Euro model right here, the GFS model right here. Both of them showing 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can clearly see the blues that represent rainfall across especially the north coast. So we're talking about sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, especially western Portland. Maybe northwestern St. Thomas into St. Andrew, northern St. Catherine, northern Clarendon, northern Manchester, northern St. Elizabeth into Westmoreland. Very interesting, and we see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that forecast. So look out for that afternoon rainfall on Saturday. And the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that there should be some amount of rainfall within the next 24 hours. The Euro showing less rainfall, getting up to 0.39 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least 0.46 of an inch of rainfall. I wonder that it could be more than that, it could be less than that, so we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of October, and in St. Catherine, whose bar graph is being shown right here, we usually receive around 185 millimeters of rainfall for this month. That's about the same as 7.3 inches of rainfall. While in St. Mary, we usually receive 172 millimeters of rainfall for October. That's about the same as 6.8 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of October or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com and that website to show that information. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next one, John 68 hours, that stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we just looked at Saturday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Sunday. And as you can see here, 12Z on Sunday is actually 7 a.m. Not really see much of any moisture across Jamaica at that time on the Euro. Then on Sunday afternoon, maybe some isolated showers across sections of some central western parishes on Sunday. What does the GFS show? Sunday morning, nothing like on the Euro. Then on Sunday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across sections of some northern and western parishes. Some isolated rainfall at that. What do we see on Monday morning on the Euro? Nothing at all for Jamaica. Monday afternoon, though, we see rainfall across eastern, central, western parishes. Do we have the agreement on the GFS? Monday morning, nothing, just like the Euro. Monday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, western parishes. What do we see on Tuesday morning? Tuesday morning on the Euro, we see moisture to the north of us. Tuesday afternoon, we are seeing moisture across sections of some central and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Tuesday morning, not really much of anything. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across looks like some central western parishes as well. What do we see on Wednesday morning? Wednesday morning, we're seeing moisture across some southern and eastern parishes on the Euro. Then on Wednesday afternoon, maybe some moisture across sections of some eastern, central, western parishes. What does the GFS show? Wednesday morning, rainfall to the south of us, rainfall across the far eastern end. Then on Wednesday afternoon, it looks like some rainfall across some eastern, central, western parishes. What do we see on Thursday morning? Thursday morning, not really seeing much of anything. Thursday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, western parishes. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, October 10. Don't really see much of anything across Jamaica, but we are already seeing the next name system coming in here across the Eastern Caribbean. Very interesting. Looks like it's going to be affecting the Leeward Islands more than anything else. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, nothing for Jamaica. Thursday afternoon, looks like some rainfall across central western parishes. And just like on the Euro, we're stopping it at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Friday, October 10. And we see that the GFS is a bit more north of where the Euro has it. The Euro has the system affecting the Leeward Islands and the, maybe even the Windward Islands with some of the outer bands. The GFS, yes, some moisture is affecting those islands, but we can clearly see that the core of the system should be to the north of there. We'll see it actually plays out. Both of these maps are not set in stone. We just have to wait it out and see exactly what they're showing over time and if the trend increases for a possible, some kind of impact across the Caribbean islands. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from both the Euro and the GFS, look at the rainfall that the GFS is showing out to sea to the east of the Caribbean, associated with that system that the Hurricane Center has highlighted. A lot of dark reds into the purples, into the pinks, into the peaches that represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to maybe 6, maybe 8 inches of rainfall. We are also seeing some similar rainfall totals over the next 7 days for portions of Central America into Northern South America, even sections of the Bahamas. All of this showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, October 10. And the Euro is almost similar with the rainfall totals, even though the Euro is bringing most of that moisture associated with that tropical wave into the Eastern Caribbean. We'll see it actually plays out. But regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Friday, October 10. And we can clearly see that both of them are in agreement that Jamaica should be shaded in the blues, into the greens, into the yellows. That represents anywhere from 10 millimeters of rainfall, maybe all the way up to 50, maybe 40 millimeters of rainfall. And we clearly see that from the eastern end to the western end on both maps. And whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs if God spares life. Taking a look at what's taking place here across the rest of the Caribbean. Not really seeing much of anything across much of the central to the eastern Caribbean. We do see some moisture across the southwestern Caribbean pushing into Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. We also see on the Doppler radar imagery near Puerto Rico, not really much of anything is taking place down there either. Some moisture in and around Guadeloupe, some moisture to the south of Puerto Rico. And regarding what took place earlier today, we saw some moisture across sections of southern and southeastern Puerto Rico, some moisture to the east of Antigua and Barbuda. But regarding the Barbados radar, look at that moisture pushing in from the northeast. We see some of that moisture, some light to moderate, even some slightly heavy rainfall affecting Martinique, some rainfall just to the northeast of St. Lucia pushing down. We also see some moisture right here to the east of Grenada, already affecting Tobago, maybe Trinidad later on. And regarding the weather view of Doppler radar images right here, we can see some hit or miss isolated showers across sections of Florida, sections of Cuba, some rainfall across northwestern Venezuela, eastern Nicaragua right here. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that all of these areas that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds should be getting in on an inch of rainfall or less. We're talking about the Bahamas, sections of Florida, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, sections of the Windward and Leeward Islands. So anywhere from, let's say, St. Vincent northward, so St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Montserrat, sections of St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, the US and British Virgin Islands. Some rainfall for coastal Guyana, South Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, sections of the Yucatan getting in some of the action. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with this forecast for the most part. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Regarding what's taking place across the Eastern Pacific, we're still watching Tropical Storm Octave, and to the east of Octave, we have a tropical wave that has a high chance of development within the next 7 days. And to the east of that, another area that has a a medium percent chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can make out the entities. Tropical Storm Octave right here, the code red right here, to the southwest of Mexico and to the south of Mexico. A lot of moisture, and already seeing that X associated with that code orange yet. I'm pretty sure that a lot of this moisture across Central America, if not across the waters to the east of the code red, are going to be setting the stage for us to come regarding that code orange. And we know that the next name on the list after Octave, well, we know that the next names on the list after Octave are Priscilla and Raymond. So let's see if we actually get those names to form out of these two entities. Regarding the latest here on Tropical Storm Octave, it is still expected to maintain the tropical storm status all the way back through to Wednesday, and look how it's expected to make a U-turn, curving to the north and then back to the east. Very interesting. As of right now, it is still a medium range tropical storm. 60 mile per hour winds is what it's packing, currently moving towards west northwest at 8 miles per hour. Regarding what's happening on the western Pacific side of things, yesterday a tropical cyclone lashed India. Now we have a brand new tropical cyclone just to the northwest of India, right in here, or to the west of India, is now Tropical Cyclone Shakti. And we are also still watching Tropical Storm Matmo to the west now of the Philippines. And to the east of all of that, we have a brand new code yellow, something that has a low chance of development within the next 7 days. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see the cloud showers and thunderstorms associated with that code yellow already looking like a tropical system. But we can see Tropical Storm Matmo right here that lashed the Philippines today. Even have some footage of that. But as of right now, we see that most of the cloud showers and thunderstorms are off to the west of the Philippines now. Lashed them over the past 24 hours. Right now, the system is currently packing 60 knot winds, and it's expected to increase in intensity. 70 knots, 85 knots, 90 knots. So if it's packing 60 knot winds, definitely tropical storm status. But it's expected to get it all the way up to 90 knot winds. So that's about the same as maybe category 2. And who knows, maybe it could overachieve. These systems in the Western Pacific are known for overachieving. And we can actually see some footage here from Weather Monitor on Twitter. If you're not following this page, you need to. As you can see here, they stated happening. Bataan, Philippines is experiencing severe flooding due to Typhoon Matmo. That same system. We can see it here. In just the past 3 days, the Philippines has faced multiple disasters: a typhoon, a powerful earthquake, and a major fire. And there we have it. A lot of flooding taking place in the Philippines, all courtesy of this tropical system that they just got. These are the things that we don't want to see at all. Hopefully everybody is safe. Regarding the new tropical system over here, that's Shakti, just to the northwest of India, well, to the south of Pakistan now. So right here we see India, here we see Pakistan here, south of Pakistan. As of right now, it is packing 45 knot wind, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see, do I have it right? No, here it's right here. So it is packing 50 knot wind. So that would make this system a tropical storm medium range, not closer to depression or category 1 status at all. So medium range tropical storm right now expected to push out towards the southwest, then curve back to the east. So almost the opposite of what the Eastern Pacific system is doing, in a sense. The Eastern Pacific system is moving west, then it's going to move to the north and then to the east. This one is moving southwest, then it's going to move to the south and then back to the east. Very interesting. So maybe, who knows, maybe it could affect northwestern India later on. Very interesting. But regarding the other system that affected India over the past 24 hours, they got in on some flooding. Look at this, streets turned into rivers tonight after heavy rainfall. Banaras, Uttar Pradesh, India, definitely having to do with that tropical system for sure. Look at the inundation that took place. knee-high water for people to walk through. That is just crazy. And we also need to highlight that the typhoon that lashed southwestern China into Vietnam has claimed a lot of lives. If you remember a week ago, that typhoon that affected them, weather monitor is stating the death toll from Typhoon Boalai and the severe flooding it caused has climbed to 51. My goodness, according to a government report released today. And here we have the footage in Vietnam to show that they definitely got lashed. Look at the inundation. This is just crazy. Homes, roads, I can't even tell the roads different from the rivers. Aerial footage. This is just crazy. This is what this side of the world gets. They are more prone to these tropical systems, and when they get it, they're getting it worse than us here in the Atlantic. Boy, we don't want any of this at all. I just hope that everybody is safe. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.